tight, crown like cold winter light. Scroll in hand, seven seals, every word cuts and heals. Red horse screams, hooves like drums, sword raised high, kingdoms come, peace unstitched by a single roar. I hear thunder at my door, wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, hey, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world shakes with our fears. Black horse ways, bread and bone, steel stilled heart, iron stone. Measure grain by a dying sun, silver short for everyone. Pale horse waits, eyes like ash, graves awake, tombs unlatch. Hades hangs on a trailing chain, every pulse spells your name. Wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar's another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks
Check.
the seal, all the old
Check
world
1, 2.
shakes with our fears.
I think we got it going.
Fifth seal opens. How long? How long? Blood at the altar becomes a song. Six seals shatter, sky like glass. Kings of the earth hide in the cracks.
Right.
Wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world drowns in its fears.
Oh, it's marked again. It did it. It does it when I change scenes. That's what's going on. I finally figured it out. It's on when I'm checking, and then when it goes to the next scene, it stays muted. Harumph. Hold on. There's a way to make sure that doesn't have. Let me look. There's a menu. There's got to be a menu for it. Let's go back. Window, sound, something, sound levels. There it is. All right. And then this is to guess it should be all right. It's well, I unmuted it myself, so now it'll be unmuted. But next time I have to do that, okay. Hi, I think I got it. All right, I think that's what it was. We've solved it together. What I was saying was, I hope you guys had a chance to check me out on Tara Devlin's show, which was a lot of fun this afternoon. She made the mistake. I think she's probably in the audience right now of winding me up on the AI talk, because man, have I been fucking grinding my teeth about that topic lately. I'm up to here with the stupids. Well, you know what? I'm this close to snapping and turning every day into Friday Eye, because crack. Anyways, welcome. Good to see you. Hi there. How you doing? Lots to cover today. Not the least of which is apparently, I don't know if you guys know this. You probably do because you're smart people. You're geniuses. Because you're in the crowd of the greatest live stream in the history of live streams, and you're in the greatest chat room in the history of chat rooms. Hit the like, share the show, etc., etc. By the way, I should probably throw that logo that I put in the same. Yeah, I should probably have that like huge like that, but like smaller. That's too big. That's not. That's too much. Okay, shrink. There you go. That's much better. And then I put it over here, something like that. And then I will duplicate it and drag it over to here and shrink that down. And so now everybody knows where they are. Okay, good. Much better. So, if I may, I've been so busy doing show that I haven't been even putting the title of the show on. So how are people going to know what they're even watching? Hi, emotes, by the way, in the background. Go for it, Twitch people. Fire it up. All right. I'm zipping right by. I'm all wound up because I got aggravated right before the show. And whenever I get aggravated right before the show, then the show pops off as soon as I get there because I'm like screaming at my television set. And then I go, this is what I do for a living. I should probably just go do it where I'm supposed to. How is the end of mass employment in the developed world over? No. The end is the end over. I think I know what you mean, but what really is going to happen is that the jobs that we sent to the developing world are going away. Yeah, that's another thing for another topic. That'll be on episode 2 of Hal Terrifies Terrabusters. Or while I'm trying to, help everybody calm down about this, but apparently though there is we are all in need, my lord, of a fainting couch. You understand? Because we're getting all a fluster about these gas prices, and we have no business doing such a thing. I'll have you know. And so there's a man who's come to save us all from our titters, as it were, to liberate us from our titulations and our hype train. All right. And that man is the most miserable man on the internet, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly, for those of you that have never been with us before, is indeed the most miserable man on the internet. He lives in the depths of a sorrow that no one can ever remedy, due largely to the fact that he wants Donald Trump to be his daddy only so much as he will bend him over his knee and give him a good spanking and make him feel, if not loved, paid attention to. And apparently he's got the unenviable job of running interference for Trump. He's the captain of the turd polishing team right now. And it's difficult. It's hard work because these are some dull turds when they get into his hands, and they're going to stay that way. And he's a dull person, so it make that even harder. And also, they only give him 2 minutes to do it. If you look right here at the time of this video, it's 1:46. They used to give Greg Kelly 8-minute clips off of his show. Now, I guess Newsmax either is failing like the Daily Wire, or they just are like, we can't afford this kind of. Like, it's just too much. Like, Greg, we can give you 3 clips a week, 2 to 4 minutes long, but that's all. Your show uses up too much bandwidth for its return anyways. So, anyways, U.S. gas prices $4.45, up 40 in 1 week, up 151, made their highest recorded average of gas prices June 6, 2022. Well, again, he's like, it was way worse in 2022. Yeah, because the entire economy of the world was jump-starting again after a worldwide pandemic. There was no pandemic preceding this. Asshat. Okay, so we'll get to this. Here he goes.
And I hear this panicking out there. Panic!
Panicans, they call them. Internally, maggots are calling Republicans who aren't on the team anymore or can't suck it up and just sail through this. They're calling them panicans. Republicanicans, they call Republican weaklings panicans. Just no.
about gas prices. Okay.
Sorry. I'm going to enjoy this every step of the way. All right.
Nobody likes to pay more in gas.
No. And some people don't even, I think, like gas to start with. Where is it? Where is it?
They don't like the gas.
That's right. There you go.
I get it. But the crisis mongering, right? The fear, oh my gosh, the country's going down the tubes because gas prices have gone up.
Yeah, what a bunch of wusses. Like, I mean, we got through the last one. Of course, it was preceded by a pandemic and the entire world was crawling out of it. And this is all, we started this, but
Gas prices soar as President Trump weighs his next moves on Iran, with just 6 months until voters head to the polls. This week starts right now.
I have to work, I have to drive, but it's not very sustainable.
The average price of a gallon of gas surging to $4.40.
Greg, I got news for you, buddy. You're not making your case very well.
45 cents, up 40 cents in 1 week.
Oh dear.
They don't like the gas.
And up $1.51 since the war began.
Look, nobody likes it. And yeah, sometimes people are going to have to make some decisions. And
Greg takes the bus. Just in case you don't know, Greg has bitched several times on his show about the people he runs into when he takes the bus to work. I don't know how true this is. Honest to God, it became a running gag on the show, but because he apparently had a problem on his way into work with some people. Now, granted, I'm sure they pay okay at Newsmax or whatever. So I guess we're to assume that he takes the bus because he lost his license because of a DUI. That makes more sense than anything else. But at least I guess maybe the reason he feels this way is because he takes a bus that's the city does, and it's maybe it runs on natural gas or whatever.
it's rough.
It is. It's so rough.
But this is still America. And this
Thank God. Yeah. So shut up, America.
is still a pretty good place to live.
Well, they're not panicking about leaving. They're just going to change leadership.
Kinda. Yeah, it is. It is.
Fuck you.
We're going to be 250 years old and people are losing it over.
We're too old to be this upset. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting him to yeah, people aren't souring on the concept of America and the Constitution. We're not attacking baseball and apple pie. It's a pretty specific thing about something your buddy, the president, is doing that's causing the gas prices to go up. Asshole. So I need to hear that again. So this is Greg Kelly, MAGA heroes, full-throated defense of America. This is his own personal Iwo Jima.
America. And this is still a pretty good place to live. Kinda. Yeah, it is. It is. We're going to be 250
Jesus Christ.
years old and people are losing it over this. And part of it is artificial.
Why is it artificial? Sorry. Is he going after the gas and oil companies for gouging? Or are we all pretending to pay more?
Totally artificial. I mean, the hysteria about it, that is artificial.
Sorry, that dude they were interviewing at the gas station is a crisis actor now?
Tonality, the whole thing. Look at this. We looked up the record high gas when it really went above $5.
What? Sorry, is this a shot of someone trying to assassinate someone by turning a rag into a wick and then blowing up their car?
A gallon, like across the board.
That was the highest average price of gas due to the fact that the entire world economy shut down and then restarted again. And again, not the idea that it was under Biden because the world was getting started again. And so everybody wanted to buy what gas was available, and then it shot the price up because of, supply shock and all that kind of shit.
That was June 6, 2022. Let's go back and think. Who was president there? Biden. Biden was president.
That's all they gave him. That's the end of the clip. I'm. You know what? I'm sure he had another point beyond that. Yeah, is it a good country? Sure. Fuck it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a, America. Sure. All right. I like it. Beats the alternative. Thanks, Greg. So that is, that kicks us off today. I think that's about as good of a defense as you're gonna get. I don't even know. Okay. Somebody tell me what the fuck Jillian Michaels is on about in this next video before we even start. I need your help, chat room. I really do. Doubt and distrust. White House Correspondents Association, red pill. This is supposed to be a blue pill, but because they blew up a picture from something, it's kind of a green pill, which sounds like some sort of odd environmental issue that she has. The title of this is why nobody knows what's real anymore, which I have to say sounds like the name of a Karen Carpenter solo record. This is why nobody knows what's real anymore. Dunka dunka dunk. Anyways, so it starts with doubt. This is the description. This is before we get into it. Hashtag conspiracy. Hashtag black pill. Hashtag black pill. Hashtag Jillian Michaels. Hashtag mindset. Hashtag critical thinking. Hashtag stay aware. Hashtag psychology. Hashtag shorts. Hashtag viral clips. You fucking wish. Hashtag truth. Right. Yeah, that was ibuprofen. It's like, do you want a red good and plenty or some ibuprofen? It's a good question. So it starts with doubt. Then it turns into distrust. And eventually it becomes something deeper. When people feel like they've been misled enough times, they begin to assume everything is a lie. That mindset doesn't lead to clarity. It leads to chaos. Once nothing feels real, anything can be justified or believed. Jillian Michaels breaks down how the spiral happens and what it's doing to society. By society, she means right-wingers chewing each other's asses over, I don't know, Candace Owens and Alex Jones and whatever. Okay, so here we go. Jillian Michaels is going to explain to us. If you truly love Karen Carpenter, somebody in the chat room is like, I love Karen Carpenter. If you truly love her, you should watch the videos of her playing the drums that are online because it will blow your mind. Amazing drummer. Yeah. So, all right, here we go.
So many of us are black-pilled.
Sorry. Once you go black-pilled. Black-pilled means doom or nihilism in Jillian Michaels' maggot world right now. That's where they got red pilled as opposed to blue pilled because they wanted the truth even if it was painful. And then black pilled is they just sort of fuck it all. Yeah. Just in case you're wondering what their code of the week is.
That nobody believes in anything anymore.
Well, obviously, you and your friends. I mean, a lot of us. The video is very loud. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can fix that over myself. All right. Check one. Okay.
I'm going to explain what that means in just a moment. Guys, can you throw up?
Yes, I can. I almost do every time I watch one of your videos.
I think we're on sat 4. It's all fake. This whole active shooter thing in the White House Correspondents' Dinner has got to be a setup. Has got to be a setup. Because who sat back for probably months? No way someone got a whim today and was like, let me go light this bitch up. No. Somebody sat back and planned this for months and didn't get a single person. I'm not saying, well, you know what I mean? Like, you thought about this?
I gotta say, there are a lot of videos that claim that it was a false flag and all this other stuff. I don't know why Jillian's engineer focused on this particular video. Is there anything in this video that might have drawn the attention of the folks in her on her staff that hey now? Yeah, exactly. This is I like even the placement of the captions is a little rude. I'm I'm feeling a little flustered myself after all. I might need that Greg Kelly fainting couch after all. This is boobalicious going on. What's happening?
This for how long and
And by the way, this woman, this girl right here, is a fucking maggot's nightmare. She's, I'm assuming she's liberal, but we don't know, whatever. But they go after anybody with a nose ring all the time. Anybody with facial piercings, they're like, that's the end of society. You know, when white women get their nose pierced, we're in big trouble. It's hilarious, right? And then, you know, like it's obviously they're like, but I can't turn away.
didn't hit a single person and then got apprehended immediately. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. This feels like a complete stunt to me. This man is stunting on us yet again because so many of his followers and believers believed it the first time. Believed it the first time. So they said, well, honestly, these people are probably gullible. I'm trying to be nice. Gullible enough
Well, at least you're trying
to
to be
believe it
nice.
again.
Wow, somebody's getting catty.
So, fuck, we didn't have an American flag in the background this time. That's what it feels like.
So far, I'm digging her video, by the way, too. I mean, all like, all the distractions aside, overall, you know, solid points, ma'am.
This is ridiculous. And they got into the dinner so easily with a fucking gun. So the security's a joke. The shooter's entire plan's a fucking joke. And they get away unscathed. And now the president is using this as this like whole thing again, you know, like the party will go on.
See how
Be
she's like,
fucking it.
I'm too smart for this.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, that's what everybody was focused on.
Like smug.
This is just so ridiculous. Every single day that I spend in this country,
Don't you want to die? Should I stop? Like
it's
it's hard to
What are
hear.
we doing? What is happening?
I think
now?
we got it. I don't know that I can keep listening to it. I think we get it. And there are
I don't know that you do. I don't know that you do, Jillian. I think your internal cattiness, your projected cattiness about that young lady might border on some jealousy about her viewer points. And you know, not to be ashamed of, you're an attractive woman. It's a different. Well, I was about to say strokes, but you know, everybody's got their own. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that you're bringing up that she thinks this is bullshit, so push back on it. Right? If your argument is nobody trusts anything anymore, when obviously fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, fact 4, that should be easy, right? But nope, it's just like, oh my God, isn't she just intolerable? It's so hard to listen to her. Fuck you guys.
there are thousands of videos like that online.
And you picked the one that was kind of boobalicious. I don't know why, but
here's what's happening. She actually thinks she's right. She's not just being a jerk to be a jerk. She believes that she is correct. And this is why this is happening, because we're all so disenfranchised.
Sorry, you can't isolate her and go, this bitch thinks she knows what she's talking about, and then go, we all feel this way. Just say it. If you agree with what she said, say it.
very real. Hence the concept of being black pilled. So red pill is like,
You hate immigrants and women shouldn't be in positions of power and abortion is murder because God makes babies no matter where they came from at the very section. And so every miscarriage, therefore, is God's abortion. And he's the great abortion doctor in the sky. Also, AR-15s, we should have one in every child's hands, even though the AR really stands for abortion rifle because you're ending a natural life before it ends naturally with that device. So anyways, also something about Waco, Ruby Ridge, and Oklahoma City.
the analogy from the Matrix. You want the blue pill, you want the red pill. Oh, I want the red pill. And you
So is that how it went? Oh, what's the red pill? I love that scene with Keanu Reeves where he's like, fuck. Excellent. I'm like, oh no, yeah, that was Bill and Ted's.
see the way that the world really works. And that's a thing. Like, how about the fact that COVID was made in a lab and it didn't come from a
FBI Director Wray acknowledges Bureau assessment that COVID-19 likely resulted from lab incident. Hannah Rabinowitz, CNN, 2023. That would be during Biden, another thing that happened during Biden. Let's see. The assessment, and by the way, that likely resulted from a lab incident. So let's grab this, shall we? Let's go back to here. Whoops, why is this stretching down here? Hold on. All right, so this is CNN. CNN, Director Wray. Because here's the problem I have with this graphic, is this is not just a clip from the site. It's meant to look like that, but it is clearly reframed. So I just want to check this out because that's how I am. Director Wray acknowledges that Bureau assessment, Bureau COVID something. Whoops, COVID. I can type COVID lab. Okay, incident. Okay, let's see what the article said. Okay, here we go. CNN directors said publicly the FBI's current assessment is that the COVID-19 most likely began with a lab-related incident in Wuhan, China, but this remains an intelligence judgment with limited confidence is not settled fact. Okay, this is where try to find the article where this is. Full breakdown. Where's that article? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, CNN 2. FBI Bureau assessment. This is what they're showing. And interestingly enough, Chris Wray is part of the deep state, just for the record, according to these dipshits. So, all right, acknowledges Bureau assessment that COVID-19 likely resulted from lab incident. We're going to acknowledge that we'll see what the yeah but is on this one. In his first public comments on the FBI's investigation into the virus's origins, during an interview with Fox News, Wray said the FBI has, for quite some time now, assessed that the origins of the pandemic are most likely a potential lab incident in Wuhan. And by the way, there's a lot of room in there for incident, covering a lot of ground. An accident, building it on purpose, full spread, right? CNN reported in 2021, citing two sources familiar with the matter, that the FBI had moderate confidence in the lab leak theory. Wray's comments come just after news of the Department of Energy's low confidence assessment that COVID-19 most likely originated from a laboratory leak in China. And this is where incident can be moved around. Leak or intentionally dropped, or some asshole sold the dead animals in the wet market and people caught it from that, which if you've spent any time in China becomes very likely. The more all right. Anyways, originated from a laboratory, underscoring a divide in the U.S. government, as the majority of the intelligence community still believes that COVID either emerged naturally in the wild, or that there is still too little evidence to make a judgment one way or another. Office of the Director of National Intelligence issued a 2021 report revealed that the National Intelligence Council, along with 4 other unidentified agencies, assessed with low confidence that the initial COVID-19 infection was most likely caused by natural exposure to an animal infected with it or a close progenitor of virus. Intelligence agencies can make assessments with either low, medium, or high confidence. A low confidence assessment generally means that the information obtained is not reliable enough or is too fragmented to make a more definitive. This is the yeah buts. This is what always happens. Whether it's 3, 5, or 7 paragraphs in, you will always see the yeah buts. I personally think the most likely thing is they were working on coronavirus. They were sort of using gain of function to create a pathogen and then killing that pathogen to create vaccines in case of spreads, and seeing if it expanded itself in certain directions, whether they could still kill it. And they tested it in animals, and then you're supposed to incinerate the animals, and some dickhead at the Wuhan lab took the dead animals and sold them for money down the road, and maybe even took some live ones as well and snuck them out of there, because that's the kind of like lame fraud that happens all the time over there. And lab incident is a very broad term, so that's why the Julian Michaels and them like that so much. Yeah. because incident, you know what I mean? Like they launched a pathogen. Also, I don't know how a hoax can happen in a lab, but somebody will explain that to me one day.
From a wet market. How about the fact that there is this crazy, powerful cabal of bankers and politicians and billionaires and public figures that are toppling governments for profit and, engaging in this
You mean ours right now? Yeah, sure.
trafficking of children,
Oh, you mean Trump's buddies, right?
as blackmail stuff for intelligence agent. I mean, it's nuts.
Honey Trap, the global-wide sexpionage behind the Epstein files. Sexpionage require flags, uniforms, or former intelligence. Yeah, we know this. You don't want to, Jillian, you don't want to go digging here because you'll find Trump and Melania, I think, at the end of it.
Right. And it's, unfortunately, that's
Also, that's not a cabal. That's intelligence services of nation states doing this on purpose. Specifically the Russians and the Chinese. Like, this is a strategy they've used for decades. I mean, have you ever seen like whatever, 1968 to 1993, I would say it goes as far as 93, James Bond film?
that stuff is real, or I don't know. I've said this before. There's aliens on the bottom of the ocean. You get to a point.
I know. Like, why even try to get a mortgage? It's insane. Ask Ethan. Did we recover alien technology from the bottom of the ocean? Let's see. Did we recover alien technology from the bottom of the ocean? Let's see. A Harvard astronomer went to the bottom of the ocean claiming he recovered alien technology. But what does the science actually indicate? What does the science actually indicate? Okay, I think I've got a guess. I think I'm good. I think the science indicates that Jillian Michaels is a Harvard professor. Son of a bitch. I knew it. All right. This I have to laugh, but we'll look into this. I don't plan these shows, ladies and gentlemen. We just dive right in. So, all right. Ask Ethan. Did we recover alien tech? Ocean. Okay. No, as I'm not. Ask Ethan was answering. Ask Ethan column you're referring to. Here it is. Oh, it's not a big thing. Look specifically at Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb's claim that metal spherules he dredged up from the Pacific might be fragments of interstellar or even alien technology linked to a 2014 meteor, sometimes called IM-1. Loeb argued that this meteor might be unusually strong and possibly interstellar, then led an expedition using magnetic sled on the seafloor to collect tiny metallic spheres. Let's take a look. All right. That would be this. What is there? Like, what's even going on? Our pets' heads are falling off. Okay, here we go. That's the Earth using a solar kite, I think, to move out of the galaxy. I'm just saying it's a mistake. You think it's hard enough, like, fighting off asteroids that might be coming our way? Do we really want to move ourselves through the galaxy without being able to chart it first? Slowly? All right. The distributed stars. Planet has a rare occasion. Some objects strike Earth. They even arise from elsewhere, from a planet like Mars or another star system. I would love your take on this. Dr. Loeb says that 10 spheres might be microscopic space vehicles and are stronger than space rock. Is this not just metal meteor fragments? Sure is one heck of a claim, but as we always have to remind ourselves, it isn't our wild imaginations we should be following when it comes to scientific matter, but rather scientific evidence in its proper context. Here's what the science actually says. The object that struck the Earth. In 2017, We detected our first ever object to pass through our solar system that originated beyond a truly interstellar messenger. Umau Mau, Hawaiian for messenger from the distant past. It was moving. That was the big turd in space that everybody called a space station. It was moving far more quickly than anything, but its orbital eccentricity, velocities, objects. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. But Mau Mau had an eccentricity of about 1.2 and a velocity at infinity of a whopping 26 kilometers per second, demonstrating beyond doubt its interstellar nature. 2 years later, in 2019, we discovered a second interstellar one, Borisov. Yeah, blah, 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 and it's okay. But both they were large. They must be more smaller ones than many. At the present time, we've never actually detected one with any confidence. However, that didn't stop Avi Loeb and his then undergraduate student from writing a paper claiming that a bolide fireball detected on January 8, 2014 was in fact exactly this type of interstellar object. Not aliens, not alien tech. It's another, it just is something that came from outside our galaxy. As opposed to an asteroid or something that breaks free from one of our local planets. Having struck the Earth and landing in the... Okay. Was it really of interstellar origin? Only data we have is from the Department of Defense, which provides estimates for velocity and trajectory, but, and this is critical, with no quantified uncertainties or errors, Loeb's paper uses the I have a note from my mom argument that the U.S. Department of Defense has released an official letter stating that the velocity estimated report to NASA is sufficiently accurate to indicate an interstellar trajectory, with no further information provided. In science, this is unacceptably weak evidence, and it has been called into serious question by other scientists. So, no, I think is the short question, Jillian Michaels.
Understandably.
It's interstellar garbage. That's what happened. Somebody, we got a giant a tin can from space.
Understandably, where you're like, nothing is real anymore.
Okay. Well, also, why would this? What is this? Show fucking Area 51 and the Roswell crash, dipshit. Why is this a sign that there's some sort of cabal running shit? Sorry, are the technically unanswerable questions because of the availability of the materials that would lay in question? Is that enough for you to think that, like, why believe in anything anymore?
And you go from the blue pill of, like, I trust all the institutions, to the red pill of, these guys will lie to me and be self-serving. I need to keep my eyes open.
No. The red pill is literally the world is an illusion. And there is an alien force or a cabal of people that run it, and everything you see is fake. That's what the Matrix is about. You don't get to like, well, it's like a mauve pill, really.
Hence the concept of stay woke, right? Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. That's where that's...
Sorry, woke is good now. Fuck me. I don't even know. How are we gonna... Could you... I don't want you to stick pins in your head, but could you actually kind of create some sort of, like, True Detective wall map so some of us can keep track of what the fuck you mean?
That's coming from. And you arrive at the black pill, which is, I don't believe in anything anymore. Nothing is true. Nothing is real. Erica Kirk.
This is going to get ugly.
Killed Charlie Kirk.
Well, I don't think she just benefited from it or looked the other way and found out, or maybe they threatened her. They haven't really worked that part of it out.
Israel controls America completely. Yeah, and Trump has staged his own assassination 3 separate times.
Yeah, I don't even know that those are black pill things. I think those are actually red pill things. A black pill is fuck it. Red pill is like everything I see is an illusion. So technically speaking, what the young lady was referring to in the little TikTok or whatever it was you had up before, she was basically referring to nobody believes the charade. And the red pill is about not believing the charade anymore. Why am I helping?
First time he got shot in the head. I mean, imagine.
No, he didn't. He did not get shot in the head. His ear got clipped by a piece of glass from his fucking teleprompter, lady, and it's fine now. It magically grew back.
In that kind of coordination the first time, like, all critical thinking goes out the window with the black pill. He got hit in the ear. Few people behind Trump were killed.
Right. Weird. The person managed. They were only shooting at one person, and they managed to hit 3 or 4 other people that weren't him. An assassin with the singular goal of hitting the guy on stage behind the podium, like clipped him with a piece of shrapnel and killed other people. You can see how, like, all right, if you were able to get one shot off that killed somebody, why wasn't it him? Like, that's where she's going. Now, your run-of-the-mill average dipshit assassin like the Thomas Crookses of the world, or even this dude at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, these aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. So, they fucked up. They're fuck-ups. That's what they are. But if you thought the deep state created this assassin and wound him up, I don't know why anybody fears the deep state, because they can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn.
Just regular people, but we were all willing to sacrifice, these Americans, all willing, meaning that the Trump coterie, just for the moment with the blood and the flag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, have you noticed the dead people in Iran? Like, the price for posturing in that crowd is pretty low.
Sure. Now we've got this guy, Thomas Allen. He's alive. Well, you don't think if it's a setup, he's going to sing like a canary?
Well, no. The idea is that he's not in on the setup. They knew he was going to try this, is the theory, and they let it happen within margins. Shit, they could have even swapped out, like gassed him in his room, swapped out his bullets. He was firing blanks and didn't even know it. That's the kind of thing that young lady's talking about, and a lot of other people are doing. Like, it was just for show. The guy can be real because there's any number of these dickheads. They just wind him up and help him out and give him a little nudge here and there, and then off they go. That's the point. I don't buy it, but that's where they're going.
He's alive. Just tell you, I was paid.
Well, no, he wouldn't say he was paid. He thinks he's going to be a hero and that kind of stuff. In the same way that, like, there's an argument about 9/11, or there's an argument about this is how these conspiracies work, or Timothy McVeigh, that, they knew he was coming, but they let it happen because they wanted to do other shit, or everything Alex Jones has ever said about any school shooting ever is that the school shooters are real, but they let it happen so that, they can push their anti-gun agenda.
I was contracted. This is a setup. This isn't real.
Yeah, but why would he say it if he goes to jail and then they're just going to, like, swap out the real him for somebody they want in jail, right? If part of the deal is you're going to go down and then you're going to be found insane, you'll get out in 2 years, and then we're going to give you $1 million or something. Like, man, I mean, you can work this out. You can see her working it out right now. Like, these are the things that pop in your head. If you want to chase down these conspiracy theories, it's not hard to create 4 or 5 variations that are plausible. That's how they get legs.
Why wouldn't he? Probably lessen his sentence, right? Don't you?
What sentence? If they're going to get him out anyways by faking his death in jail or moving on, like, who cares?
You think? Instead of what I imagine is going to be life in jail. So you gotta. He's a Democrat.
No, he's not actually registered with any party.
I think he donated like $25 to Harris's campaign.
Do you think he knows he did? I'm just fucking with the conspiracy part.
I believe he's been placed at a No Kings rally. He's part of, this is sort of preliminary information, but part of some group called the Wide Awakes. And I guess there are different elements to this movement, so it's kind of hard to nail down exactly which group of Wide Awakes and what they stand for. But I think you get it, right? Wide Awakes.
Yeah, it sounds like the red pillars on the maggot side that you were talking about. Good Lord.
Nobody's pulling the wool over our eyes. So
maybe, has anybody asked the shooter if he thinks the whole thing was faked?
I bring all of this up
because you need content.
For one reason and one reason only. Because I want to try and inoculate you from this kind of rhetoric and this kind of manipulation.
Okay, first of all, she's obviously not talking to us because we're not her regular audience. So she's worried that her audience is leaning this direction or is already there, right? Or she's afraid they will become woke but woke Reich is what they're, what Mark Levin calls them, which they stole from us, by the way.
It is designed to drag you in.
Mm.
And you might be the holdout, right? Like, I'm not going to take the bait.
I'm not going to believe it. There's nothing you can do.
I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole.
I will not. But I do want to pet the rabbit. He looks cute.
I won't enter this fight. What ends up
Yes, I'm the Kwai Chang Caine of this dipshittery.
happening is that it begets itself. It's like a virus. And all of a sudden, there's an infected person who bites you, and now you're in it.
Sorry, are you trying to make us all imagine that blonde girl with the cleavage biting you?
Right? Like, you have your little MAGA hat on or your Biden-Harris bumper sticker, and someone does something to your car or your lawn or, attacks you in public on the airplane. We've seen, the guy in the MAGA hat get attacked. We've seen that clip. I don't even know if it's real anymore. So many times. And now you're in it.
What? Why are you in it? What are you talking about? That's just standard bad human interaction. The fuck are you talking about, lady?
They've dragged you in. It's like The Godfather. They've pulled you in.
It's not at all like The Godfather, because it was a family organization, and his dad ran it, and then he's the eldest son, and then he doesn't want to do it, but he's actually super smart, and he's the only. You're talking about your run, like, who's Michael in this situation? All right, god damn.
But it goes nowhere good. Nowhere good. We have got to rise above this.
We gotta rise above it. Yes.
Not just for our own sanity.
For our own sanity. Can I get an amen? We gotta rise up.
But for the sake
of our brothers and sisters and cousins, and except that one cousin we don't really like, but let it be, Lord.
Of the country.
Of the country, of our forefathers and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren and our neighbor who's kind of a dick on Wednesdays.
The country that we're going to leave behind for our kids and our
that country we're going to leave behind. Now, most of us are thinking about that blonde girl's behind now. She's done it to us again, dragged us into the sin, Lord.
So from now on,
that was a weird edit. Why'd you have to clip your show like that for? Did you get real boring real fast?
That we're going to leave behind for our kids and our grandkids. So from now on, when you see something.
Okay, you just cut out that whole chunk because it was not helpful. I'm guessing it was just you fucked up the argument and it got a little distracting because you wandered. You tried the weave and failed.
That triggers you. That's designed to infuriate you.
That's right. Get that hook in your lip. Drag you around town.
Designed and intended to manipulate you.
Well, now you sound. Are there leather straps involved or handcuffs or something? I like the fuzzy kind. I don't like the sharp.
To draw you into this chaos.
Oh, the chaos. I'm enough,
And this distraction.
It's a distraction to keep you from voting the way Trump wants you to vote.
And this horizontal fight that drains you in every way.
Well, speak for yourself, sister. And also, you have I don't know if that's your hair or a saber-toothed tiger's claw coming out of your ear, but might want to talk to some. There's nobody in makeup.
I want you to stop for a second and.
Okay, we'll stop. Everybody, stop. Just for a second. Okay. All right. That's long enough.
Pause and just breathe.
That's such good. Remind people to breathe. It's always good. I think one of the cats just used the box. Great. Thanks for the timing, lady.
Because these guys are trying to convince you.
Oh, these guys, that there's a conspiracy. These people are behind the scenes trying to convince you.
That life is a movie, that it's all heroes and villains, it's Paralight and it's total darkness. But that is a trap. And when you start seeing people as monsters or parasites.
You mean the way you describe everyone on the other side of the aisle on your show every day with zero humor. When you bitch and boil people, what are you fucking talking about?
It's not going to fix the world.
It's not going to fix the world. No.
You're just allowing yourself to become blinded.
Why do I do it? Why do I allow myself to become blinded? By the light, wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Bruce Springsteen wrote that song.
To the humanity of the people that are standing right in front of you. All right, guys, if you like this clip and
I did not like this clip. I don't know what the fuck it was. I really don't. I was trying to, this is why nobody knows what's real anymore. I don't know what the fuck was going on in that. I know where she was going. I know what the purpose of the clip was. We all kind of do. The purpose of the clip was the maggot voters are not coming out this fall. That Trump's numbers are ass. And because of that, she's scared, and rightly so, that a bunch of the black-pilled red pillars, which I guess would be the maroon-pilled or something like that, those folks have decided after all this that they're not going to vote for Trump, and they may even vote for Democrats. And so she's doing her best to try and staunch the bleeding, to try and, put that fucking toothpaste back in the tube. And it ain't happening. It's not happening. And for two reasons. One is because they're reacting to real damage. They're reacting to shit that Trump is really doing. And you can't just speak that out of existence. And the other reason is because I can't think of a reason, nor can anybody else, why you would listen to Jillian Michaels about anything, I suppose, but diet and exercise. You go, girl. Yes, queen. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Now, there's been a lot of people that are that responded to the interview that Tucker Carlson gave. And when, I think pointed out the fact that he lied very directly and obviously, and it was pretty pathetic overall. Like almost, I haven't watched the whole thing because it's like 2 hours long, because who the fuck cares? He says the same shit on his show. He just does it directly without anybody questioning him, right? But thank God somebody is coming in there and defending Tucker Carlson against these horrid attacks by the New York Times. Is it Candace Owens, his buddy from another mudda, that that apparently thinks that he's being attacked because of Israel and Jews and whatever? No. You know who came to his rescue more than anybody that I've been able to find? Fucking TYT. Garbage journalism. New York Times gotcha of Tucker Carlson backfires. The Young Turks. Now, I could be, crass and jaded and assume that this is just them trying to carve off a slice of that Jimmy Dore money. But honest to God, I think this is just because they're looking at the money that he's making online along with Candace Owens, and their numbers are down, their money's down, and this is a fresh teat, right? So I want to see a little bit of this, how they attack the New York Times and how dare they question the honesty and integrity of Tucker Carlson.
I'm a former Israel-Palestine correspondent. You were pressing him on if the modern state of Israel as a homeland for the Jewish people today has legal or biblical legitimacy. You were sort of questioning him on this idea. Why, though, were you so interested in those questions? There is an enormous...
Wow, they're slicing the shit out of her question. You're not gonna do the... Hold on. TYT, you're not gonna let her have a whole question?
his legal or biblical legitimacy. You were sort of questioning him on this idea. Why, though, were you so interested in those questions? There is an enormous sensitivity around Israel being the homeland of the Jewish people and the attempt to delegitimize that.
I have enormous sensitivity about the United States being the homeland of my people and the burial place of my ancestors. Asking questions is not hate.
Also, by the way, this isn't the burial place of Tucker Carlson's ancestors. Stop talking about the last couple of generations of your people as your fucking ancestors. And this country, even if your people came over on the fucking Mayflower, your ancestors are buried on this ground, but on the ground the Brits or the French or the Spanish fought to control, not America itself. This is just fucking goofy. Anyways, this is she's from watch Tucker Carlson spars with New York Times host over Israel.
Not hate. Telling the truth is not hate. And they don't want to answer the questions and they don't want to tell the truth.
Can asking questions, though, stir up hate? I mean, language is powerful.
Just to give you a sense of how deep the hellscape we live in truly is.
Fuck you, Anna. Holy shit. First of all, give the woman a complete sentence before you start criticizing how she's talking about this. And it's directly related to what Tucker said. She's obviously talking about the Ted Cruz interview at one point, where Ted Cruz and him get into this argument about the biblical nature of why the country exists versus the material creation of it as a nation state or the old British protectorate nonsense. She didn't just and believe me, him dismissing his criticism period, like there's no anti-Semitism there. Like, of course I'm not, which is exactly what a public anti-Semite would say. Pardon me, but I'm not taking him at his fucking word. Once a person shows you who they are, believe them. And that's exactly what he's been doing. How is this different from anything he said on Fox?
That was a New York Times
hatchet job of a woman's interview with Tucker Carlson, an incendiary asshole who lied to her fucking face and said he didn't say things he said.
Reporter Lulu Garcia Navarro, who was New York Times's Israel-Palestine correspondent, making
Jesus Christ. Hold on. TYT is still making edits of this woman's stuff when Anna's talking. Watch, they play the video.
We live in truly is. That was a New York Times reporter, Lulu Garcia Navarro.
Yeah, sounds Jewish to me.
Who was New York Times's Israel-Palestine correspondent, making the case that asking questions about Israel's intent is wrong because it might inspire.
Well, see, here's the problem, Ditchwitch. We don't know that she was asking if a question about asking questions about Israel's intentions at all, because the way you guys cut that shit up, we don't know the basis of her question in that moment at all. And the other thing is, Tucker Carlson, because he's a coward and a scumbag and a liar, always does this, casual inference through questions. I'm just asking questions, Why do we have to put up with this? Why can't you kill the Jews? Why should we put up with this from the Jews? Like that kind of shit. Those aren't just questions. Those, I'm not quoting him. I'm exaggerating hyperbolically as an example. But the point is that he does this, allowing for the inference thereof, push-pull questioning all the fucking time. So stop acting like I'm just, I can't. I'm just wondering. The fuck out of here.
Inspire hate. You're a journalist? You're a journalist. Cenk, she's a journalist?
Yeah, no, I don't think so, especially after watching that.
Especially after watching our edit of half of each of her questions.
So I had the misfortune of watching the whole 2-hour thing. We're going to give you important clips from it. And what
Yes, anything like what you cut before
is important is what she.
You'll notice, by the way, that I don't do that on this show. I might bug out of a clip early or fuck off with it, but this is just dumb. Has Hal always been for Israel? No, I don't actually.
She asked and what she didn't ask.
But I'm also not going to be suckered into pretending that Tucker Carlson is a legit a morally grounded person that can be trusted about this or anything. Nobody gets to fucking backdoor in because of a broken clock moment. But that's what Cenk wants. Cenk wants to backdoor in Tucker Carlson and give him legitimacy because they share this thing about Israel in particular, which means all the other stuff that Tucker Carlson gets is just kind of like a friendly disagreement now. All of his anti-immigrant shit, all of his racism, all of his anti-woman shit.
So after you see the clips, what I want to talk to you about is what was her mission in that interview? Because that's really the most important thing. And it tells you.
Yes, she was proud. She was clearly with a Hispanic last name, sent by the Jews to trick him into making a fool of himself.
More about mainstream media in the New York Times than it does about Tucker Carlson.
So for me,
all right, you're not going to play the part where he literally lies about calling Donald Trump the Antichrist, and she plays the clip for him, and he's like, "I never said those words in my life." When she really reads the words that he actually said.
At least, it really did seem like Lulu Garcia Navarro's point or objective throughout this conversation with Tucker Carlson was to excoriate him for daring to ask a line of questioning in regard to Israel that Israel doesn't like. And what Israel likes to do, and what defenders of Israel like to do, is they like to weaponize identity in order to shut people up, as Israel is carrying out war crimes, atrocities.
Sorry, real quick. You can be against what Israel's government is doing and call them war crimes and atrocities and the like, but that doesn't mean you have to pretend that an adversarial journalist talking to somebody like Tucker Carlson is going to press him on a bunch of different issues. Like, what the fuck? Because honestly, this looks way less than like, why can't we have an honest conversation about the shit Israel's pulling, and more like, how can we polish Tucker Carlson's ass for our viewers at TYT? What are you going to do? Hire him? Put him on a show? Link up with him? Is TYT going to fold into the Tucker Carlson network?
Atrocities, genocide, you get the picture. And so those days are over. People want to actually ask appropriate questions.
Well, again, nobody gives a shit if you ask appropriate questions or cite appropriate details. That's not what Tucker Carlson does, fuckwad.
That will inform the American people about what Israel's really up to. So who can—
Hold on, no. You could say that the Israeli government is attacking people in Gaza and killing people indiscriminately, which they clearly are doing. You could say that they've been engaged in ethnic cleansing of the area, if not full-on attempted genocide. All those things, valid, you could bring them up. But what Tucker Carlson says is that Donald Trump's helping them, and Donald Trump's joining them in the Iran war is because he was fucking hypnotized. That Israel is making him do it. He's an innocent victim in this. Poor, pathetic, sad, soft-brained Donald Trump got Netanyahu whispering in his fucking ear, and then he magically did this because Israel wants him to. Instead of, he's a bloodthirsty prick just like Netanyahu, and they're peas in a fucking pod. Tucker is, I mean, even his dip shittery around, is this the Antichrist that they draw attention to? The rest of the time he talks about Trump, he talks about how Netanyahu cast a spell on him, how his donors whisper in his ear and they magically make him do something he doesn't want to do. Fuck you. Donald Trump wanted to do this in his first term and he didn't get around to it till now. I don't give a shit. Nobody does. That people are questioning what the Israelis are up to. That ship has fucking sailed. You're allowed to. Nobody ever said you weren't. The problem was that anti-Semites glommed onto it and tried to go, yeah, let's get them. And everybody was like, fuck you. I'm trying to really criticize what the government is doing, not the existence of the Jews. And it's really hard to separate these two dickheads from that crowd as well. But in the meantime, because we can all recognize the difference between Jews and the Israeli government and how the Israeli government is asking, what Tucker Carlson's primary directive is on his show is finding some way to forgive or protect Donald Trump from his own fucking decisions because of Jewish witchcraft making him do this. Fuck you, lady.
Who cares about your sensitivities, Anna? What matters here is whether or not you're asking questions that actually enlighten the general public through the work you're doing. Now,
well, if you're okay, here's a good reason why she might be asking those. There is an assumption amongst a bunch of people that anybody who's questioning Israel, there's a chunk of them. It's not indicative of the viewers here or the viewers of my show, or certainly not the viewers of Tucker's show, but there's a big chunk of people that when they hear people jumping on Israel this way, have like a knee-jerk reaction that it's an attack on the Jews and the like, and asking a bunch of questions to separate the Jew haters from the people who are legitimately criticizing what Israel is doing right now, and justifiably so, is necessary. Why does that bother you? Why do you keep bringing it up? Not why is it brought up in general. Other people talk about it too. But why you? Why do you seem to dig in this whole thing about whether or not they biblically have the right to exist when you previously used to believe this? And why do you own land in Qatar now? Like, that is a legit question of Tucker Carlson. This is, and the weird part is that I think Anna and Cenk are both reacting to her questions of Tucker Carlson because they feel attacked. They think that's her question for everybody who criticizes Israel. And at the same time, Anna and Cenk are trying to help Tucker Carlson rehabilitate himself. Shit, I half expect Rusty Trombone to get a show on there in the, like, maybe they'll set him up like his own little court TV thing while he's going through his rape trials.
Now she has no.
You know what they could do? Cenk, I got a great idea. They could revive the name the camel toe bit you used to do with Anna, where you'd show a close up of a woman's crotch and people would have to guess who it was. Remember that? Wasn't that hilarious? Do that.
No interest. I'm sorry, Lulu, whatever her name
Garcia Navarro.
She might not. She might be more considerate of these sensitivities, but if you're a journalist, I think getting to the bottom of the truth is more important. And
right, and if you're interviewing a specific person, getting to the bottom of why they care about what they say they care about and why they use the language they do, especially around a sensitive topic. And Tucker also does one other thing, and we'll move on because fuck these idiots. But Tucker also does a regular thing that I want people to watch out for whenever you see a clip, besides laughing uncontrollably at really weird points and saying, obviously, and everyone knows this, as a way of and then saying that other people are casting spells with words when he's using propagandistic language on purpose in these instances, is that he does this thing where if he can be as bigoted about something as he wants to be, and then when called on, onto the carpet over it, he either deflects to someone else and going, I'm not the only person asking these questions. And you're like, yeah, anybody who's read the Turner Diaries or the Protocols of the Elders of Zion are asking the same thing. It's not the fucking point. I'm asking you why you're saying what you say. That's what he dodges. So, and again, they're just polishing Tucker's ass.
And that's partly the case that Tucker Carlson tried to make in response. So before
did he? That's partly the case he was trying to make in response. What was the other part? You mean the part where immigrants, modern immigrants, are going to change the nature of the country that his ancestors died, I suppose, protecting slavery from the North?
Before we get to any of what Tucker had to say, I do think it's important for you guys to really fully understand how she operates when it comes to the topic of Israel specifically, and only Israel. Let's watch.
These bitches.
Watch.
The reason I want to press on this a little bit more is that you know that there is an entire anti-Semitic worldview that has been based on the protocols of the Elders of Zion, that there is like this.
And by the way, look at Tucker right now, looking at her like, I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't know that that's true. When he fucking well does. Ignorance is not innocence, Tucker. Stop it.
A ball of powerful Jews that controls the world.
The one that Anna got called out for going, yes, and doing the, whatever the Jewish cartoon meme of the merchant
And, that book was written in the early 20th century, but it, helped the Nazis, and it really has informed a lot of the views of many people today that there is, this very powerful sect of Jewish people who want global war and global conflict. And I think that there is a concern that I have, and a real concern. I don't mean this as something that people say to slander anyone, but just a real concern that the rhetoric where everything is blamed on Israel, where Israel has these supernatural powers almost.
By the way, yes, he literally has said they're casting spells, that their words are their spells and stuff. This goes beyond AIPAC and donors and shit like that. He's literally talking in mythical and magical terms.
To influence the president, to influence the previous president, George W. Bush, to enter into the Iraq War.
All things, by the way, that Tucker has said or insinuated or said and then insinuated and then insinuated and said multiple times.
To be involved in assassinations, etc., that it has echoes of that.
Lulu, you're not a journalist.
Fuck you, Anna. Do you have any, all right, I know she watches his show. I know they play clips, and I know Anna, she's been on his fucking show. Anna was on Tucker Carlson's show as a non-adversarial guest. And let me tell you something. She's not just defensive about somehow, how that question, let me just say for the record, that was not a loaded question when it was aimed at Tucker Carlson, because she's addressing shit he's actually said. And a lot of it is, it's not just like, I'm just asking questions about whether they have too much control or whether AIPAC and donors. He's literally said that these are demons and that they whisper spells into the president's ear. And I know he wouldn't do this. I know he doesn't want to do this. So they have some sort of supernatural control over him, which is absolutely reflected in anti-Semitic, mystic Kabbalah fears that people have had. So shut the fuck up.
You're not a journalist. Because the fact of the matter is...
Yes, she is, because she quoted him directly. She's referencing shit directly. You're not a journalist, Anna, because you don't know that, or you're pretending not to.
Regardless of whatever book you're referencing right now, there's a small group of Zionist billionaires, okay? We're talking about Larry Ellison and his son, David Ellison, the Murdochs. What else? Miriam Adelson. And before her husband passed away, her husband was a giant donor to Donald Trump specifically.
Right. We're not talking about donors, dickhead. There are a lot of AIPAC style donors, and that's very obvious. That's not what he's talking about. Donald Trump got a lot of other donors and fucked them over. You think he really cares?
Specifically for what? To carry out the best interests of Israel, even.
Right, but that's standard donor class shit. He's doing more for the pharmaceutical companies than he is for Israel. If you really look at the money outlay of US taxpayer dollars, he actually believes the Iran shit. I know you think that Netanyahu tricked him into it, but he's a typical Republican. He wanted to follow the PNAC plan, and that's what he's doing.
Even at the detriment of the American people. In fact, he gave a speech once standing right beside his wife, arguing about how it brought him shame that he wore a US military uniform as opposed to an IDF uniform. Okay, that's who they are. And do they have control over our political system? Of course they do. They're billionaires, and bribery is baked into our political system for a reason.
Right, but even then, bribery wouldn't do all of it. There's got to be an ROI on it. Trump's got more business interests right now with Saudi Arabia and the UAE than he does with Israel. You're starting to think Hal doesn't like Anna? No, I can't stand her. I think she and Cenk are frauds, and I think their entire purpose as a network is to diminish the Democratic vote. They are that is the raison d'etre of TYT.
Beginning to really learn. And so oh, you can't ask these questions because...
Nope, she didn't say that. He's directly talking about magical, Kabbalistic powers that these people have, not donor class money shit.
Reality is a big conspiracy theory because reality, Israel has determined, is a trope.
Yeah. So look, there's two things about that are so important. Number one.
Yeah, tell us what's important, Chang.
None of her questions were about why are you so opposed to the war? What do you think is going to go wrong with the war? Why?
Okay, which war? I guess let's start there. But also, the interview itself wasn't about. Well, okay, I don't know why that's a drag for him. She talked about a lot of reasons why you would support this or you wouldn't support this in that interview, at least in the pieces that I've seen.
Why were you so animated by the genocide, etc.? Got nothing, 2 hours and nothing about policy or substance. Almost every question was framed as, why did you talk to Nick Fuentes? Why aren't you concerned about the feelings of Israelis? Did you do this? Why did you do, it was.
Because it was a personal interview?
All.
He's not a politician. He's not running for office. His policy descriptives are bullshit. He's a media figure. He runs his podcast out of a fake shed, you dumbass.
One giant gotcha, right? And it was all structured not around policy, but around.
He doesn't have policies. He's not a politician.
Offended the sensitivities of some of the most powerful people in this country. Why is the New York Times?
Whoa, sorry. So the average person wouldn't be offended by his attitude towards immigrants. Guess not.
In the business of protecting the sensitivities of the most powerful people in this country and doesn't care about policy or substance at all. And so look at the framing. Well,
he's a media figure and she's asking him media questions. Tell you what, if he gets elected to office and he's offering bills up or co-authoring them, then we'll talk about policy. He doesn't have any fucking policies. He doesn't have any morals at all. He's a fraud. He said a demon raped him. Get the fuck out of here.
No questions, passionate or otherwise, about 22,800 kids dead in Gaza, the current invasion of Lebanon by Israel, etc. But over and over, she comes back.
Again, he's not a politician. She's asking him specifically about his messaging on his show. But at least we know in 2028 who Cenk's going to vote for.
The enormous sensitivity, that's a direct quote, you saw it with your own eyes. The enormous sensitivity of Israel's supporters here. So wait, Lulu, what's more important? 23,000 dead kids or the people who are offended that you pointed out 23,000 dead kids? And for Lulu and
that's not what they're pointing out. Those are all material realities. What she's asking about is, how is it that you think they whisper magic words into Trump's ear and this like ghostly cabal controls everything? And again, Tucker's whole point is Trump is an innocent. Trump is not responsible for his own choices. I mean, even the bribery bullshit. How much money does this motherfucker need? Why does the bribery have to be, result in damage? You don't think he could, like, if he's fucking arted the deal, dude, that you couldn't bribe him just for oil revenue and fucking minerals rights in other countries and shipping lanes and fucking tariff, cutouts and shit like that? There's billions to be made in all of that. Trump is doing this because he wants to. And you guys made the last election a fucking coin flip between him and Harris, like there's no fucking difference. And as a matter of fact, Trump might even be better for Gaza, even though Trump, Plaza Gaza, and maybe the Palestinians shouldn't really live there because you can't really live there anymore, which is him arguing for ethnic cleansing, him starting the Iran war, bombing a kid's school. And all this time, Tucker Carlson helped get him elected, just like you did. She doesn't have a responsibility to check like what his voting record in fucking Congress is. She has to ask him why he says what he says and what the root of it is, because there are a bunch of people that, well, shit, here, I'll show you. Nick Fuentes is making videos about how he's pissed that Tucker Carlson distanced himself or said he regretted interviewing him. Yeah, here it is. Look at this. Let me get over here so I can stretch this image out. Fucking lazy bastards. All right, where are we? Here we go. This business. Yeah, here you go. This guy. Tucker Carlson attacks me in New York Times interview. This is the clip from his show. Because he said he regrets interviewing him. And she's like, but you had him on. What do you agree with him on? Why? Because his name is bad? What about the things you guys agree on? What is so... Why do you regret it if you still agree with almost everything he says? That's essentially the question. By the way, I fully expect, and I'll be very disappointed of Cenk and Anna if they don't do a Nick Fuentes rehab video very, very soon.
We're going to get into the news here. We're going to talk all about this Tucker Carlson interview with the New York Times. And I just want to say at the very beginning, this is a really important interview to talk about. I just want to impress upon you the significance of this. Obviously, Tucker has emerged as one of the most important, influential voices. But it's not just his influence, it is...
So it's not... It must be great to be Tucker Carlson right now, because everybody from Nick Fuentes to TYT, as if there's a difference, is polishing your ass right now.
Is the network that he is involved in. We've talked about this at length. Tucker Carlson is obviously involved in a clique. He is involved in a clique which is vying for power. He is not a journalist. He is not a commentator. That's not what he is. Do you know what Tucker Carlson was doing throughout 2024? He was in the Arabian Peninsula meeting with the heads of state and heads of government of all the Gulf Cooperation Council nations. Saudi.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Arabia, the Emirates, Qatar. That's
all the states that exist by and largely because of slavery currently.
What a journalist does. You know, a lot of journalists from the Huffington Post, independent journalists on YouTube and Spotify that are meeting with the Crown Prince of the United Arab Emirates, that are meeting with the Crown Prince of Qatar, of Saudi Arabia.
Well, and also, don't forget, has Donald Trump's, cell phone on speed dial and can show up at the White House anytime he wants, or at least could at that point.
I think so. I don't know what he is. Nobody knows what he is. He is clearly some kind of intelligence-aligned operative. He is clearly involved deeply with his best friend, Peter Thiel, with J.D. Vance, another good friend of his, with Joe Kent, a CIA officer.
You're welcome. I sold his in.
He is in bed with people in the intelligence community and people in this government and exerts influence on it. And that is why there is so much consternation among the pro-Israel crowd about his rise and about his apparent shift in what he talks about and how he talks about it, specifically as it pertains to Israel. And so what he says in this interview, it's of importance. It really matters because this is the discourse, this is the conversation inside the American right wing, and this is going to determine the future of where the party goes after Trump leaves office.
Yeah, he was just on, I want to say, was it Hannity's show or somebody else? Anyway, somebody was running through the numbers and saying that Tucker Carlson's got 7% of, in the 2028 primary for Republicans, maybe sort of ish, which is like within biting distance, within the statistical window of J.D. Vance and the other leaders.
J.D. Vance is the vice president, heir apparent. There's going to be an attempt to consolidate support around him, and that's going to be an awful lot of power to dictate the future of the GOP in the wake of...
Yeah, but I mean, nobody's going to be able to tell him what to do with that riz.
The sunset.
Was it Hannity, Janelle? Yeah.
Setting of Trump's political career. It's a big deal. And Tucker is a spokesman for this. He's a prophet for this. And so it matters what he's thinking and saying. So anyway, that's just a little bit on the significance of it. I want to get into the interview.
Sorry, his little snippet about the The significance of a New York Times interview with Tucker Carlson is that Tucker Carlson is an intelligence asset of the Gulf states and is a puppet of Peter Thiel, hell-bent on elevating J.D. Vance. I would just like to point out that that was the throwaway in the beginning of this. Where is Jillian Michaels' black pill when we need it?
And in the first place, I want to talk a little bit about what he said about me, because he did address me directly. And it's sort of funny. There were a few major topics in the interview. They talk about the war in Iran, the Trump administration, J.D. Vance. They talk about what's happening in the country. But a significant chunk of the interview was really all about me and my interview with Tucker back in October of 2025. What's interesting is that Tucker did not want to talk about that at all. Didn't want to talk about me. He almost seemed insulted that he had to. Interviewer kept bringing me up.
Well, yeah, because he loses audience if he insults you, because you guys are you're co-conspirators, you're fellow travelers.
Asking him about me, and he seemed not happy about that. So we're going to work through this. We'll start with what was said about me in my interview. And like I said, this is not completely self-indulgent. We're going to tie it all
I think it probably is
together at the end. This is very significant. This is a dialectical situation. Okay, this is the dialectic in the populist, nationalist, post-Trump GOP. It really matters a lot.
Yeah, look at his face on the freeze frame. I don't know that he believes this.
So we'll start with some of his comments about me. I did clip them, so they're just a little bit shorter here. And we're just going to read through it.
Mercifully. Just like, did you cut out all context like TYT did and just attack the reporter?
And then I'll discuss it. So the interview...
by the way, hit the like, share the show. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That doesn't quite matter either if you really feel that way. It helps me in the algorithm anyways.
Or says, how do you see Fuentes in terms of the future of the right? Now pay close attention. This is Tucker's answer. What does he think about the Groyper movement, me, the future of the right wing? This is a quote. He says, most of the debate about race, ethnicity, religion, and to some extent immigration are less resonant long-term than debates about economics. I think the main frustration among young people is not just that the composition of the country is changing too fast, but the main concerns are about the lack of economic opportunity for young people. Older people.
Yeah, that sounds like a dodge. Like, I wish, it sounds like Tucker Carlson wishes the country was more racist than it was, but he's very frustrated that when he tries to warn people about the awful march of the brown people, they don't seem to give a shit. And they're more concerned about their pocketbooks and their friends' pocketbooks. Some of their friends might also be a shade of brown, possibly. And therefore, he's really frustrated that that somehow works better as an argument, politically than talking about race or immigration. Womp fucking womp.
Other people do not acknowledge that. And so I think most future conversations politically will be about economics. It's a really interesting statement, isn't it? Because obviously my show, if I were to say what the big issues of my show are, I would lay them out very clearly. I would say, one, it is the transition of America from a white nation to a non-white nation. This is called the...
By the way, that's also what Tucker, launched his show on.
Fourth demographic transition.
Oh, he'll tell you darkly yours, believe me. Don't think for a second he's going to hold back with this dipshittery.
And fourth or fifth demographic transition, it's global. And that is that because of communication, transportation technology, because of collapse of birth rates in the first world, rise of birth rates in the third world, you have a massive migration of non-white people, poor, peasant, illiterate, non-white people from the...
By the way, same shit Tucker says. Just, occasionally not as, I would argue that Tucker isn't as direct in his language, but they absolutely agree. This is exactly my point. Tucker didn't want to talk about Nick Fuentes, not because, oh God, that was such an embarrassment, I shouldn't have done that, but because he doesn't want to be called out for the fact that they are exactly aligned in this shit. They are exactly aligned. They absolutely share this belief system. And Tucker doesn't want to be called out about it. He's more than happy for Nick Fuentes to be the fucking red flamer on it and and catch all the heat, whereas he does the kind of like, you know, I don't know, gentrified version of this bigoted message. Same shit. They absolutely are in agreement.
In the global.
Oh, and also the fact that the New York Times reporter asked him about this, TYT would suggest that this is just her trying to vilify Tucker.
South to the global north. And we're talking about Hispanics and Asians moving north into the United States. We're talking about Africans and Middle Easterners moving north across the Mediterranean into Europe. So I would say that's one of my big issues. And it is.
You don't say.
Is an issue of race, ethnicity, and religion. It's changing, like he said, using his terminology. It is the composition of the country that is changing and changing too quickly. It is the absolute total change, but it's also the rate of change. This is the central issue of our time, that America and Europe was for thousands of years European, white, whether it's the Germanic tribes, whether it's the Romans,
right. You get it. Good Lord. So he's still pissed because Tucker disavowed him in the New York Times interview, right? And it would be one thing if like he was all nice to me when I was on his show, and then he, behind my back, he distanced himself. That's not even the problem. The problem is that Tucker Carlson says the exact same fucking thing this asshole says. He just dresses it up in questions and harmless language and, I'm just, these are concerns other people have. And of course it's true. All that shit that Tucker Carlson says is exactly a parrot of what Nick Fuentes is just saying directly, and what TYT is protecting Tucker from. Good Lord. So anyways, you get the point. You cannot defend Tucker Carlson in his current form on his current show without defending Nick Fuentes and all of his Groyper pals. It's the same shit. It's the same. They all believe the same thing. It's just that there are the people who, kind of, grand wizard their way through these conversational points. And then there's the David Dukes of the world who managed to try and, I'm just, all I'm doing is trying to support my own people and talking those kind of languages. And that's what Tucker Carlson does. So anyways, I'm just glad that TYT just fell over their fucking shoes, protecting Tucker Carlson from the big mean New York Times lady who had the nerve to ask him, like a journalist, about shit he has actually said, and the difference between how he says it and how an anti-Semite would say it. And if you can clarify that, and you can speak, openly about these kind of things, or ask these kind of questions, and not come across as an anti-Semite, why aren't you doing it? Fucking TYT. And again, their entire job is to demoralize the Democratic voter. Just get them to stay home. They played as big a part as they possibly could in the 6 million people that sat home during the last election cycle. Trump president paused on Project Freedom to keep Strait of Hormuz open, raise the are we tacoing? Shit, hold on. Did he? Let's see this. Oh, for fuck's sake. Hold on. Here you go. Yeah, there we go. And ladies and gentlemen.
Raise a taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Raise a taco, take a bite.
Fuck me.
Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Taco, taco.
What a jackass.
Taco.
Jesus Christ. Do Dem-leaning voters even watch TYT anymore? Less and less. Trump to pause U.S. effort to guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz while blockade remains. Earlier today, Rubio said the U.S. military operation launch in February was over, suggesting the U.S. priority is now reopening the critical battle. Okay, status door. Trump said the U.S. will pause Project Freedom. Boy, is that not an analogy for our current times? In the year 250, we're pausing Project Freedom. A naval effort aimed at guiding commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz to see whether a deal with Iran can be finalized. Just hours earlier, Rubio said Operation Epic Fury, launched in February against Iran, has ended and the U.S. was focused on Project Freedom. Again, he did this. You know how Trump was saying, it's unconstitutional, the War Powers Act. I don't have to do this. And then he secretly sent a letter to Congress saying it's terminated. It's officially over. And then launches Operation Freedom as a secondary thing for this. And then now that one's over, if somebody attacks us during this process, we're just starting from scratch. I got another 60 days. It's officially done. This is, yeah, it's market manipulation as well. Absolutely. Fucking hell. Ceasefire is ongoing. U.S. military action during a ceasefire is a defensive operation, Rubio said. So, again, we're not at war. If they fire on us, they're declaring war on us. They're basically saying we don't have to abide by the law while abiding by the law, but just the letter. Fucking hell. Okay. During the ceasefire is a defensive operation, Rubio said, because he was taking Caroline Leavitt's job today. Yes, so I think we can all agree in all of this.
That was just bullshit, Joel.
Right. Pete Exas said the ceasefire is not over. And Trump also did not specify what would constitute a ceasefire violation. He was asked about that in front of those kids today that he talked about, trans athletes, and you're not going to become a trans athlete, are you, Gary? Do you like gladiator movies? Demand for oil is falling at the fastest rate seen outside the COVID pandemic as business and consumers cut consumption. U.S. gas prices have increased by 50% since the start of the war. And again, the only silver lining to any of this horse shit that I can see is that we may reach demand destruction for oil close to what we had around COVID, close to what COVID actually artificially extended petroleum usage because it was so cheap for a while during COVID, but then the backlash and the availability of it drove it, everybody to like, maybe I do need an electric car. So Trump says this, okay, based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, the tremendous military success that we have had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally, the fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with the representatives of Iran, who he says, as of this afternoon, we don't even know who they are. We have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. It sounds like the Iranians, their little boats, fired on some of these ships, and we didn't want it to blow up into something worse, so Trump fucking chickened out again. What an asshole.
Trump always chickens out.
Oh my God. So, okay. That was, and then he had that thing in front of the fucking school kids, and that was embarrassing. And again, half of the time, I don't even know whether to feel okay about this or not. I don't, like I have one of the videos I had set up to do was, of course, Megyn Kelly and stunt Megyn Kelly about the state of the ceasefire. This video is when was it put up? It was this was late last night. They posted this one from her show yesterday, right? They clip it and put it up. It's already obsolete. Everything in it is worthless. Like if you're in the business of chasing Trump's words, you make toilet paper. Yeah. So today's show just zipped by. Son of a bitch. Also, okay. Guess who also agrees with TYT on how you should talk about these kind of things? Everybody's faux Christian rusty trombone, wearing his reborn hat. It's 3 times because somebody else denied him 3 times, and the cock crowed 3 times, and then the 3 days later, whatever. It's a 333 club.
I want people to understand this. Free speech in the U.S. is dwindling because
of Ted Cruz.
They want to make it so that if you say
Russell Brand, stay free, you should go to jail.
Under the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, it says that if you say that the Jews killed Jesus, which is in Scripture, which is in Holy Scripture, sacred Scripture, that is actually anti-Semitic. And I want.
Well, again, with the help of the Romans, wonderful group, the Romans, terrific. Also, for the record, it doesn't matter who killed him because he had to die because of the Scripture. So the Jews that killed him actually helped carry out the prophecy. So they played a necessary part in the prophecy. They had to. It's like the Pharaoh that was he wanted to let the Jews go, and then God hardened his heart so he could show them how cool it was that he could part the Red Sea. Also, the Romans killed him. Yes, they're the ones who nailed him up and guarded the place.
And I want people to understand this. Free speech in the U.S. is dwindling because they want to make it so that if you say Christ is king or the Jews.
Yeah, nobody. Okay, that's been a big thing. Candace Owens just talked about this, so this is probably why dipshit is having her on about this. That saying Christ is king isn't the problem at all. People say shit like that in Christian churches all over the place. It's when you respond to people, who are talking about Israel and Palestine, or when you're talking, or when Jews are online, or if it's fucking Netanyahu and you write Christ is king in there. You're not doing it because you believe Christ is king. You're doing it to troll Jews, or even, by the way, Muslims.
Jews killed Jesus.
Also, I think it's kind of rude because Christ wasn't meant to be a king. That was Judas's mistake.
You will be labeled anti-Semitic.
You somehow surely knowing in your heart.
TuckerCarlsonBooks.com. So Russell Brand's book is being published by TuckerCarlsonBooks.com. Wow. I guess that's what Nick Fuentes meant with it. He's an operative and he's creating a clique of something.
Heart of hearts, you were stepping in a difficult terrain, said, I'd like to challenge you all on what you mean by anti-Semitism. Is that how your current challenge began?
Yeah, I was selected by President Donald.
Oh, this is a woman who got kicked off the Religious Liberty Commission, but she was well kicked off before the Judaism part of it came along. I think she was just she was kind of like moderately anti-Israel, doing awful things. I don't know that she was that extreme, because we covered remember when she got booted? I covered the video of her talking about it.
Donald J. Trump, and he selected me along with 12 other incredible, very important people on this commission. And
simmer down.
I had a duty. I had a duty to stand up for.
You know who else had a duty? Donald Trump in his diaper.
For people of not only of my faith, but people of all faiths. And so I wasn't going to sit there and allow them to define a word that, really, they didn't want to define the word. They just said, if you are against the.
Okay, these people are fucking crackpots. Get your message worked out, okay? Come back, tell me what the bad man is doing to you, and we'll try and work it out. But this idea that we have to redefine everything whenever you fuckers have a gripe. Holy shit. All right. I'm almost over time. I'm right at this last moment of this, but hold on one second. One more thing. Where is it? So the 5 was on, and we haven't talked about them in a bit. I just want to see what their take is on the escalating tensions with Iran, which were solved today and then unsolved. How long did Operation Freedom last? An eighth of a Scaramucci? Let's see. So here's the 5, which is really,
Hello, everyone.
Greg's not there, and the wrestler dude is filling in. Oh, Lord. This is gonna be lame.
I'm Emily Compagno, along with Kellyanne Conway, Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, and Tyrus. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this
Doesn't he go by Tyrese?
is the 5.
Yeah, that's right, Janelle. One fucking day.
Can't let them have a nuclear weapon, or you'd have problems like nobody would believe.
Well, I mean, the Japanese might, or us and the former members of the Soviet Union. They're pretty aware. Anybody who's seen Oppenheimer, maybe.
And it's going very well.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. President Trump.
What? I gotta say that, I mean, it didn't seem nice, but it didn't seem particularly provocative. It's more like no more Mr. Nap Guy.
Trump telling Trey Yanks the Iranians will be blown off the face of the earth if they attack U.S. vessels that are guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz as part of his Project Freedom plan.
Which is over.
47 posting on Truth how Iran has taken some shots at a South Korean cargo ship, but the U.S. returned fire. Quote, we've shot down 7 small boats or...
So they were flying? You mean you sunk? You sunk. We sunk 7 small boats. You don't shoot them down. They're not air... Fuck me.
Or as they like to call them, fast boats.
Do they?
It's all they have left. Other than the South Korean ship, there has been, at this moment, no damage going through the strait.
Yeah, we just decided to stop it just because, we're just, we got other things to do.
And meanwhile, one Democrat senator seems to be justifying Iran's mission to get a nuclear weapon.
After this attack, and we were negotiating with the Iranians at the time of the attack, and I think they feel that their only defense might be a nuclear weapon.
Right. This is well known. This is the way North Korea clearly felt. This is, yeah, that's the problem.
So we've ironically, I think, given...
You're beginning to believe in flying boats. You might be onto something, Pushback. There might be something to this.
them more reasons to push for a nuclear weapon. We have to prevent that.
Yeah, Jesse, this might be what the Secretary of War meant when he said the greatest adversary would be the congressional Democrats on the Hill and the senators, too.
It was a tremendous display of American military muscle and resolve.
Yes, the muscle and resolve that lasted. It's over. Sorry, my bad.
Unblocking the strait while we maintain the blockade,
which we stopped doing.
That's going to really bring their negotiating team to its knees. It also unlocked.
Well, so we didn't bring their negotiating team to their knees then.
All of this pent up cargo and energy out of there.
Nope. Still stuck. You know what? Yeah, I should check. You know what? That's not fair to these wonderful journalists. There you go. Marine Traffic Strait of Hormuz. Here we go. Port of Hormuz Strait Traffic Live Map. There you go. Marine vessel traffic happening right now. What's going on? There's bunches of ships. Are they moving through? No, they're not. They're all stopped just like they were before. They're all gathered over here. They're all gathered over here. There, you dipshit. Yep. Yeah, man. Look at it all unblocked. Look at the massive unblockage going on there, Jesse. I know what you're thinking. Hal, that's not fair. You're showing pictures of the strait from yesterday and 5 days ago and 7 days ago. Oh no, that's today. Just this is what it looks like. That's what it's been looking like. That's what it still looks like. Although the Interstellar seems to be making a shot at it. It's going to Singapore. It's been sitting there for 15 hours. Don't let me go, Murph. Don't let me go, Murph. All right. Please tell me you guys have seen Interstellar. So no. I guess just no.
And we did it without boots on the ground. And
you can't have boots on the water, stupid.
And we did it without any Asian or European allies, so you're welcome. We
See the little giggle he got from the side? Yeah, it's still not happening,
basically
dummy.
sailed multiple guided missile destroyers straight through the gap.
No, you didn't.
We demined this little safe passage along
No, we didn't.
the coast of Oman. And this is not like a one-to-one escort situation. We've created an entire...
Don't put the thing up on the screen while he's bullshitting. People will notice no ships are going through, stupid.
...defensive umbrella around the Gulf with anti-missile defense systems.
Nope.
Helicopters, fighter jets, drones with about 15,000 service members. And we've already...
Do you see the middle part, which is the part we supposedly opened, you fucking moron? Do you see this? Jesus Christ. Look at the middle of the map. That's the pathway he said was open. There are no ships in it. None. There are none. They're stopped over here and they're stopped over there. Just like they were yesterday and the day before and the day before that. Asshole. By the way, someone clearly, and I hate to break this to Jesse, but someone in the control room fucking hates him. Because that's the only excuse for putting this, like, unmoving, even sped up map next to his fucking head while he lies. Trump vows to escort ships out of the Strait of... Oh, yeah? How long did that vow last?
We've already got two...
About as long as his vow to his kids not to bury their mother on a fucking golf course.
U.S. flagged vessels out of there safely. This is a defensive operation. We don't fire until fired upon. They fired first. They broke the ceasefire, and and then we didn't return fire. They broke the ceasefire, and we're still maintaining it because, well, I guess. Hold on, this one. Sorry.
Raise your taco, take a bite.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the moron, the man himself, Jesse Waters, the moron you know. What an asshole. So,
and it didn't go very well for them. 6 of their fast boats from the Mosquito fleet wasted by Apaches and Seacraft helicopters, and then also a bunch of...
By the way, he's also like showing ships that are basically anchored and are just circling around in one place.
The missiles and drones they shot out, all of them intercepted. They threw some missiles over to our buddies at the UAE. Almost all of them intercepted. There's a small fire at an export terminal. I think it's going to be...
Sorry, let's be abundantly clear. Iran fired missiles into the UAE and struck civilian infrastructure and possibly killed people. And he's like, it's a little, whatever.
Okay. But if Iran continues to escalate, we can climb the escalation ladder. We can do it all day.
Yeah, we could do that if we want to. We just don't feel like it right now. You know, we feel like we're just doing Project Freedom until we aren't.
It's not going to end well for them. Right now, Operation or Project Freedom.
Yeah, Project Freedom. Let's call it that. Let's call it. I don't even know if it qualifies as an operation or a project. Crafts class freedom. Let's call it that.
Looks really savvy, sophisticated, and the oil markets are going to love it. This corners their negotiating team, and it will really...
How would it corner the negotiating team? The idea that Trump's going to let all this stuff through and then their oil isn't getting out, but other oil is going, and like, so Chinese ships could go in and out of the Persian Gulf using this direction, and then they could secretly drop arms into the water for them to pick up, like Iran does with Hezbollah with Hamas at times. That was the concern, right? And
he put the president in a great position when he goes to Beijing in about 10 days.
All right, so good position on the world stage, Kellyanne, but for some reason, Democrats still aren't on board and continue taking Iran's side. Yeah,
hold on. No, explaining the fact that Iran strategically will want or feel they need a nuke now more than ever because they can't trust the president of the United States to keep his word on a deal, and they don't believe a deal is actually to be made, is not taking their side. It's a recognition of the threat.
It's turning into the anti-Israel, un-American, pro-Iran party. And if you don't believe me, listen to them. Jack Reed has probably been in public office. He's probably been a politician all 47 years that everyone else looked the other way on Iran. And
also, for the record, have you checked in with MAGA right now and how they feel about Israel?
look, this Harvard-Harris poll is very important because they're asking the right questions, not these dopey questions. Do you like bombs? Do you like war? Duh. They're asking 74% is saying USA is winning the war in Iran because they're getting updates like this from our commander in chief. They can pull up the graphs themselves. This is not secret information. It's transparent. We're watching.
Also, no one would be shocked if we were able to wipe out a fucking country with our military. It's huge and super advanced. The question is, can you maintain it without boots on the ground? Can you guarantee they're not going to keep trying to get a nuke? Have we not just opened up a can of worms where we had a deal before, but since he tore it up, we now have to police these people from the fucking air forever?
Watching it in real time. Another 74% say Iran should not have nukes. People are worried that a country that chanted death to America loudly for decades, if they had a nuke, they would visit death to America. And people know that.
No, they don't have the missiles that would have that kind of range. And if they started building them, it would ratchet up incredibly fast. Also, Israel already has nukes. So the idea that they would get a nuke and use it immediately, like Trump says, if Iran got one, it would mean mutual destruction between the two of them. What they would use it is the same way Russia would use it, as an envelope, as an umbrella under which they could attack other people.
So the Democrats need to get on board here, especially while we've got folks over there and especially while we're at war.
Yeah. How do we get the Dems on board? I know. We'll send soldiers into harm's way and make them look like they don't care about the soldiers if we don't let them create a war out of from whole cloth.
With Iran, they can question it. They can say we don't want to fund it. They can say you're exceeding the war powers. They can say whatever they want.
We know it's that fucking America thing.
But what they're saying, Emily, is so harmful to the good work that we're doing there and to stopping and to actually President Trump doing the job of 6 or 7 presidents who said Iran and 50 presidential candidates, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. We tried everything. Diplomacy.
We got something and he tore it up. That's why there is no deal to be made. There is no deal that will be made. The Iranians, if they took a deal and then followed through on it, they'd be insane. And Trump would just fucking go, okay, they signed the thing, fuck it, we're done. And let the IAEA and the Europeans clean it up. I don't give a shit if they build a nuke.
Diplomacy, coddling them, cudgeling them, giving them pallets of cash, threatening them, JCPOA. We tried everything, and yet Iran was this close to getting a nuclear device anyway.
Nope. No. Trump tore up the deal. That's what made them get close to it again. That's what made them realize, well, fuck, we can't make a deal with these folks. So, because they're not going to keep up their end of it, so why should we?
We can't have them enriching uranium and give President Trump his due. The Democrats should. He has been absolutely consistent on the central premise and the rationale for doing this. And it's to prevent.
No, he hasn't. He said it was obliterated last year. Why the fuck are we there now if it was obliterated? Are you calling him a liar?
Iran from getting a nuclear device. Is Jack Reed going to go back on a friendly Sunday show 5 years from now and say, oops, this president, whoever that is, now has to deal with getting the nukes out of Iran's hands? And last point, it's not that long ago, and we all remember it. Barack Obama had his red line in Syria. No, he didn't. He wimped out. He totally cratered. He said if there's any kind of chemical weapon, Assad unleashes chemical weapons against his people. 1,400 people die. And instead of that being a red line, Obama goes and negotiates with Putin. Hillary Clinton, the stupid red button diplomacy, stole it out of a board game, I guess, a dime store, dollar store. And she presents it to Russia's Lavrov and says, we're going to reset. You know what Donald Trump's red line is? Iran getting a nuclear device.
Again, no. If that was the case, then he solved it last year and we're done.
This is what peace through strength. And I want to tell my friends on the right who have a problem with this war.
Okay, this is where the language is, because again, she's talking to Democrats, like any Democrat would listen to her, other than I guess her husband or her ex-husband. Their real problem is the maggots aren't buying it.
Remember, peace through strength also includes the strength part. We have to show our military might and muscle sometimes to make sure that we secure the peace.
What do you mean? Is showing it just using it? Do you have to? We just have to just bomb people just to remind them that we're strong? You know, it's like a father disciplining his family. You know, sometimes he just has to walk in the door and start smacking everybody, whether they did something wrong or not.
Harold, do you see that statements like this, that what the senator made tends to present a fractured front and might undermine the unity and strength that United States needs right now for
Yes, if you question anything Trump does, the terrorists win.
support of its military?
First of all, it's good to be with you.
Thanks for coming, Harold.
It's good to be here. Tyra's always good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Emily, I take a little different position. I know Jack Reed. Jack Reed's a patriot. He is asking a question that I think deserves an answer. And I agree largely with the core argument here, which is the Iranians cannot have enough uranium to enrich a nuclear weapon. I think their desire to have one is undeniable, and I don't know how you end that until we bring on 2 or 3 generations of new people who want to be a part of the Western world and the rules that we have. 2, just a step back. 8 weeks ago, gas prices were 142% less than they are today. The real way that the American people, and Kellyanne has a better sense of this than I ever will, she polls people and understands the sentiment of the country in many ways for the last 4 or 5 presidential cycles. The American people, the way they're experiencing the war day in and day out, thankfully, because we're not experiencing casualties, Emily, is that they are paying a much higher price for gasoline. 8 weeks ago, the Strait of Hormuz was open. 8 weeks ago, our negotiating team of Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner were trying their hardest to negotiate a new deal. Remember, we had exited the deal that
Yeah, well, the question is, were they really? But
Barack Obama had put together. And I might add, since that exiting of the deal, at one point I thought the president might have been right to do it. I'm not as convinced today as I was 8 weeks ago, because according to credible reports from multiple sources, the Iranians now have 60,000 more tons of uranium. Now,
60,000 more tons? They've got, no. I don't know what that means. They don't have 60,000 more tons of uranium than they had 8 weeks ago.
As committed as any. I'm like Kellyanne on this. Democrats and Republicans who believe that we can just quit now, I think that's foolish. I think that's short-sighted. I didn't interpret Jack Reed to be saying that. What I interpreted him to be saying is, how do we bring about this solution? I've heard from Republican friends of mine, Democrat friends of mine. I still have a few on both sides who live and work in Washington who don't believe on both sides that there's a military solution to what we're doing right now. We've got to figure out a much better, for lack of a better way of describing it, Obama deal, or deal with them, because you can't, if we can military our way out of this, I would agree with Jesse, tactically, militarily, Secretary of War Hegseth is right. We have executed it flawlessly, but that alone is not going to accomplish the 2 goals we need here. First being, they cannot have uranium, enough of it to enrich, to create a nuclear weapon. And 2, if we don't open the Strait of Hormuz, this notion that we own it, I heard my friend Secretary Besson say that this morning. I'm not convinced of that. If we did, I think it would be open. The Iranians certainly have a lot more control of the strait than we think. So it's going to take some sort of diplomatic solution, and I'm hopeful that the president, and I hope that my friend Kellyanne can tell my friend the president, stop talking so much. Threatening to blow them off the face of the earth. We've already done that 7 or 8 times. You either got to do it, I'm not saying he should, or not, or stop saying it. We need a good deal, a strong deal, and one that will protect Jesse's kids.
Well, that's a presumption also that they want an actual deal. I don't believe that to be the case. Again, I think this is just them carrying out the PNAC plan because they've been wanting to do it since the 90s, and Donald Trump is a typical Republican. There's nothing special about him. And by the way, I want to say on our way out the door, I noticed we have a couple of trolls in here, and I want to thank you guys for being here, because without you, we get, people get caught in this kind of like bubble of the algorithm where only people that like their stuff see their stuff, and then it doesn't get spread and other things. So because you show up and you write things in the chat room, it actually not only tells the algorithm that you're here and that I've got your eyeballs. And again, the thing about time is. There's no refunds. But also, I show up in your also watched algorithmical lists on other people's stuff. So I appreciate that very much. I thank you for that. Maybe if you stuck around, you'd learn a thing or two. I doubt it. I think there's a lot of bottification of Trump support right now online, and I don't think there's a lot of like organic support. But look, people got to make money. It's a tough system out there, and if you need a side hustle pretending to troll for Trump, I get it. I know you might be a little upset, or your boss might be a little upset that we don't in my chat room in general get we don't start whinging when trolls show up or weep about it or get upset. We just, look at you as what you are, ridiculous and suckers, or just working stiffs trying to make a dime. So I don't fault you for that. Anyways, you're welcome back anytime. Just keep your sort of bigoted and racist language to a minimum, and the anti-gay slurs and that kind of stuff. Just keep those to a minimum. If you have a real argument, make it. And I will also say that this keeps coming up as well, that calling me like a B-lister or a C-lister or a D-lister or whatever as an actor and that kind of stuff isn't really an insult, because all you guys think that A-listers eat babies. So all you're saying is he's a talented guy, he just wouldn't eat the baby, which is true. I never was invited to any of those kind of Diddy parties because I assumed baby was on the menu and I wasn't going to go. And I never will. And if that keeps me out of the A-list, then so be it. I'd rather be a blue-collar comedian and a blue-collar actor and work for a goddamn living than baby eat my way to the top. I'm not going to do it. Not to impress you. I'm not going to be another, Ted Nugent. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be one of these big superstars that eats a baby just to get ahead. I'm not going to do it. And you can like those people and you can support them. I mean, I understand that, to have the biggest game show in the world, like The Apprentice, you had to eat a baby too. They had a bunch of other people that were going to be the host of The Apprentice, and Trump was the only one that would eat a baby. It was weird. But they found somebody. I guess Mark Burnett, when Putin told him go over there and do a show that makes a phony businessman, he was like, I got just the guy. And then he goes, make sure he'll eat the baby. And so he was like, I got you covered. He's the guy. So anyways, hit the like, share the show. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got the Wednesday morning show, 9 a.m. Pacific time, the Hal Sparks Mornings Megaworldwide. Afternoon shows at 3 o'clock every day of the week, except Thursdays, which are at 4 o'clock. And I'm, you guys know, I'm gonna put my foot down. I'm not taking adrenochrome. I'm not going to eat a baby. I don't go to eyes wide shut parties. If I go to an orgy, I expect everyone to show their face and also their medical records. I think you should be able to, if you're at a proper eyes wide shut party, I think you should be able to thumb through people's, recent prescriptions. That makes sense to me. I'm going to show up at some place. How do you know the guy doesn't have a big sore on his lip? Ladies, who would be stupid enough to go to an eyes wide shut party like that? Before you find out, it's too late. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to keep earning my living. By the way, by performing with Nerd Halen, and there are new dates coming out, but and we're in San Jose, California in July, and Denver as well. We're coming to Denver, Colorado, but not this week, but next week. Is it the week after next? I'm in Chicago, between Cleveland and Akron is where the actual club is, and Pittsburgh. So, and then I really do want to do a live, get together in Chicago maybe. So we'll work that part of it out as well, maybe before the show or after. I got to protect my singing voice, so probably after, since it's the last show. But any Patreon fans can come to those shows for free and bring a guest. Just let me know which one you're coming to, and we'll put you on the list for that. And I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And to all the trolls, hey, good luck. Like, I think I've never seen you guys more unified. And it's just so wonderful that Erica Kirk and Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and all those folks are just kumbaya right now. It's all working out very well. And Trump is keeping all of his promises, especially the ones about prices and inflation and no new wars and no regime change wars. And yeah, he's doing a great job. So good luck, everybody. Congratulations, maggots.
I keep a seat where the light won't reach. Whisper low so it sounds like peace. Lay your head, let the ceiling spin. You don't have to begin again. I've been here where the air goes thin. Saw what happens when you try to win. Better stay where the walls don't move. Nothing left that you have to prove. I don't push, I pull you close till you forget what you wanted most. It's just the way of the world. Down in the dirt where the flowers bloom. It's just the way of the world. You'll feel the power of an empty room. It's just the way of the world. Just wait a moment and we'll start again. You are the enemy of my friend, my friend, my friend, my friend. Take my hand, feel the current slow. I can show you what I know. Every spark only burns you out.